Welcome back to the channel. Hey, I want to do a short review video for the Mastercarver Micro-Pro power carving tool. I've had this Mastercarver for just under a year now. You may remember seeing me use it on the wood cross project, and recently I used it on the Viking 2x4 project. I've been very pleased with how it's performed. Have no problem recommending it. Now, the Mastercarver, of course, does not sponsor me or pay me. I purchased this tool with my own money, and I think I've been using it long enough here now to give you an honest review. The link I'm sharing is an Amazon affiliate link, so I do get a small commission if you purchase with the link. The price right now is about $299. That includes the foot pedal. I think you can buy it from Mastercarver website and get this same model for about $269 without the pedal. So make sure you shop around, see what you can find the best price. Now, I can't speak about their customer service since I haven't had any problems so far, knock on wood, but they do have a lot of favorable reviews on Amazon. And I've checked around with some other wood carvers on YouTube and have been using it, and they seem to have some good reviews and good reports on it. While it is a little more expensive than the Dremel, I believe it's well worth the money, but there's nothing wrong, of course, with the Dremel. Dremel is a little bit on the cheaper side, and I like using the Dremel as well. However, it is a lot more like the Strong 250 wood carver, and you remember I did a review on that not too long ago, so you might want to also compare this model with the Strong 250. Now, the Mastercarver Micro-Pro works very well on small to medium sized projects. As you can see here, these are the projects that you've seen in recent videos. For large carvings, you probably want to consider using something like a Fordham or an Arbor Tech tool, where you take off large quantities of wood, or you're working on larger projects. However, for these small and medium carvings, the Mastercarver has plenty of power and torque. Okay, let's talk about features. This, of course, is the power supply. It just plugs into 120 volts, although it does have a selector switch on the side where I think you can connect it to actually 220 volts, but I use it here in the United States for 120 volts supply. It works fine. Right here on the side is the on and off switch, and then over here, let me take the holder off. Right here is the forward and reverse. So again, normally you're going to have this on forward. I mean, a lot of carvers are right-handed. If you are left-handed, you'd probably want to switch it to reverse. With some of the cut saw burrs like this, it doesn't necessarily really matter what direction you're carving. However, with the carbide burrs, that has the flutes, generally you want to keep these in the forward direction because they cut a little bit better. As you can see here, they do have some storage holes on the top, which the Strong unit didn't have anything like that, which is why I have this over here really to keep all of my burrs together and organized. But the Mastercarver does come with a few holes, although just a few of those holes are like for 1/8 shanks, and then there's 2 or 3 of them that are for 3/32 shanks. And this is the little reducer sleeve for the 3/32. I just keep it in here so I don't lose it. And here is the little holder. I had it sitting here, but I'm going to put it over here to kind of get it. It just fits in this slot, and you can put your tool in there, rest your tool in there like so if you want. It does come with another holder that allows you to set it on the table, but this holder works pretty well. Now, the tool is variable speed, as you can see here with this dial. When you turn it all the way over to the right, it can reach up to 46,000 RPMs. That's about maybe around 10 or 11,000 RPMs more than, say, the Dremel. It does carve very smoothly at those higher RPMs. Now, I don't think that this is necessarily a deal breaker, but this thing doesn't come with any kind of digital readout, and it doesn't even have any kind of indication here on the speed dial of what RPM you're at. But it would be nice, I think, to have the, some kind of readout or some way of knowing what that RPM is, because, a lot of carving bits have a recommended maximum RPM. Over on the cut saw, site, they say that the recommended RPM range for rotary burrs like this is between 15,000 and 30,000 RPM. Now, for these carbide burrs here, you can run them generally at a very high RPM. This pack of carbide burrs on the back says that I can run these to a maximum of about 70,000 RPM. So that'll work fine with the Mastercarver. And of course, you still need to maintain the RPM that comes recommended with the burr or the attachment that you're using in here. And this is, for example, this is a little polishing disc that I like to use on some of my wood carvings. And this one has to run at 21,000 RPM. I did find out I ran some of these at too high of an RPM and ruined one of them, so I learned a lesson there that you do need to pay attention to the RPM recommendations sometimes on these packs. So make sure you do that. And also you need to experiment with RPM on different kinds of wood, because on some wood species, when you run it at very high speeds, will actually leave burn marks on the wood. So you just want to be careful of that and kind of experiment with that. Okay, here's a piece of Tupelo wood, which is a favorite carving wood for power carvers. And I'm just going to do a quick demo here and kind of show you how this thing works. I'm going to turn this on. Again, very quiet. I'm going to put it start it out at a lower RPM. Again, at the lower RPM, it is kind of grabbing the wood a little bit more. But when we turn it up, cuts get a lot smoother. The cut saw bit is more of a roughing type bit. Really cuts into the wood and chews it up and takes a lot out. Now, just to compare that with the carbide bit, I'll just show you that real quick. Got this in the forward direction. Turn this on, and I'll turn this all the way up to the very high 46 RPM level. And you can see that now it's leaving a very smooth cut. Very different from the cut saw bit. So you do the cut saw bit to really do a lot of removing of material. Then you come back with these bits, the carbide bits, to do more, what I would say carving, more like knife carving actually. It's really more like a kind of carving with a knife as opposed to just carving with a really coarse burr. Even here you can see, if I leave it in one spot very long, you can start to see it, the wood starting to burn just a little bit and get a little bit discolored. So that means I might need to turn it down just a little bit, not leave it in one spot for very long. Okay, the handpiece, as you can see, is very ergonomic. You can pretty much use it like a pencil in your hand, really, and it's not fatiguing at all. You're not having to deal with shafts, like with the Dremel, that are not very flexible and can sometimes break. All you've got here is a power cord going to the the carving unit itself, where the motor, just like in the Dremels, the motor resides here in the hand piece. Let me turn it on for you, but it has very little vibration, very quiet, as you can see. The way you change the bits is very easy. All you got to do is rotate this part of the handle here, slip the bit out, slide it back in, and lock it down, and it's ready to go. It will take up to 1/8 shank sizes, which is very common, and it does come with a collet reducing sleeve that inserts into here, and then you can use the 3/32 shank bits. And now you can buy, if you want to use the really small, I think dental bits, the 1/16 shank size, you can buy another reducing sleeve separately to put in here for those. Now the specs say that it does have an overload protection, which should, increase the life of the motor in the handpiece. On the back here is the port for the foot pedal. I don't have a foot pedal with mine, so I can't speak really much about that. I really prefer just using the speed dial here on the front. So far, I haven't had any burrs vibrate loose. I did have a little bit of that happen with my Strong, but sometimes, from what I've heard, is you've got to be careful that you get the true 1/8 inch shanks versus maybe the 3mm shanks, because the tolerances on these hand pieces can be pretty tight. So you want to make sure that if you have one that's coming loose, and you might want to just try a different brand and make sure that you've got the right shank size to fit with the hand piece. Haven't had any mechanical issues with it. Haven't had anything vibrating loose or coming off or anything like that. So overall, I say this is a great carving tool, and I recommend it. There are other rotary carving tools out there with these style hand pieces. I mean, there's some out there that almost look identical, so they must be manufactured in the same locations, I would think. But I don't have a lot of experience with those. Mainly the Mastercarver Micro-Pro and the Strong 250 models. I do have experience with those. So please leave any comments below. Share, if you have ever used the Mastercarver, or maybe the Strong, or any of the other micro carving tools that you recommend. Please share in the comments, and also leave any questions that you might have about this tool or the Strong 250. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.